Good evening, everyone. It is Victor, give me Flake Man, King of the Morons, talking to you, my loyal moron army. Today I'd like to dedicate this opening video, the opening of this video, to James Gandolfini. Rest in peace. Thank you for all the joy you gave us on camera. I saw someone on Facebook trying to turn your death into a message of how we should take care of ourselves, but I think no one really knew why you died, and people just assume it was because you drank a lot and ate a lot of prawns and crap. But you know, you never know when you're going to go, and I think it's kind of silly to use someone's death as a lesson for all of us, especially when the guy who was delivering the speeches, a guy who in the past used to get drunk on camera and yell at people much more than I ever did. So, but I appreciate the sentiment. And I will admit that, yeah, it's a damn shame he's gone. Well, at least we got him on camera, you know. Anyway, it's 1 a.m. No, not quite. 12:36 a.m. I have not seen the latest Mad Men yet. I'm waiting for that. I haven't finished the latest True Blood. I like those shows now. I'm waiting, of course, for Dexter to start, and waiting for even more so for Breaking Bad to start. I'm a super Breaking Bad fan. Walter White, that's his name, right? Isn't it? Anyway, what's his other name? I forgot his name. Oh, he's got that German name. Anyway, a lot of questions. I'm doing a question answer. I've got lots of GoPro videos I have not edited, but I will, because I want to, because they're fun and I like doing them. But I got a lot of questions to answer. Let's get to those questions first. Okay. The first question, a couple of these are pretty interesting and give me kind of vague answers, but the first one comes from Brad and summarize the question. Apartments, how much are they? Okay, so I've lived in a lot of apartments in Japan. The first time I came here, I got an apartment with my school, and they charged me, they think they took it 55,000 yen out of my salary every month to pay for the apartment. And it was basically a one tatami room. Now this room I'm in here now was I guess as big as my whole kitchen living room the first time, and then in addition to that I had another little tatami room and a 1-unit bathroom, which means you get a bathtub with a shower, tiny, and a toilet all in the same room. And you know, it was on the first floor, very close to a subway. It was fine. Now I live in Nagoya, which is like living in Cleveland if you live in the States. It's a middle-sized city, great to live in, not much to see as a tourist. But if you're living, of course, if you're centrally located, it's going to cost more. So I'll summarize the prices very quickly. If you want something that's prime, then you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of money and a lot of size. Okay. If you're willing to commute, and the guy who wrote me actually has 2 kids. He's coming over with 2 kids and a wife. And I know guys who've lived here with 2 kids and a wife, and they live a little bit outside of the main part of the city. They commute 30 minutes to an hour a day. And if you're willing to do that, you can get some really good deals outside of the city. You can pay the same amount as you would for a 1-room apartment in the city. You would pay the same amount, but live in a house, and albeit probably a very old house. But the farther away you get to the main cities, the hubs, you know, the cheaper it's going to be. Other things to consider are age. Japanese in general do not like and do not value old houses. So you know, I used to live in a 100-year-old house in the States, over 100 years old. And it was kind of a pride of the neighborhood. You know, people used to come by and take pictures of it because it was such a beautiful old house. But in Japan, often those houses are torn down. They're not valued. The older an apartment gets, the cheaper it gets. So there's that too. Now, I did also get an email from a guy from Kuwait who's coming over, and he's got a lot of money, he says, and he wants to buy a place. Now, if you're going to be here for a while and you do have the money, you can actually get away with buying an apartment, for a used apartment that will probably not devalue as much as buying a new place, if you know what I mean. So if you're going to be here for a while and you know it, it might be a good thing to do. But it's always risky with real estate, you know. But at the same time, a lot of people make a lot of money off real estate. In fact, most new millionaires became that way because they got into the real estate market and they made a killing. Of course, a lot of people lose their shirts too, so it's really risky. But if you got the money, then go for it. Anyway, if you're really poor and you just want a place to stay, and I've seen a lot of the apartments. You know, in the past I've looked through the apartment. You can go to any convenience store and they'll have these thick apartment guides, and they'll show you the prices of each one. I've seen places as cheap as 15 to 20,000 yen, which is $150, $200 a month for just one tiny room with a sink in the corner, not even a bathroom, but there'll be a shared bathroom on the floor which everyone will use. And we've got a couple in this neighborhood too, old places, really dumps. I'm always curious to see how much they cost, but I've walked through with my dog, you know, just kind of being nosy. And yeah, it looks like all the apartments are just apartments, and at the end of the hall they'll have a bathroom where everyone goes in the morning and brushes their teeth and the sink and crap. And so, you know, if you're willing to do that, those are those kind of places. And those places actually don't generally care if you're a foreigner. I think a lot of the middle class places do care, and at the same time there are a lot of foreign places. I know there's a place here in Nagoya called Free Bell. I think it's called Free Bell. Sounds strange now that I say it, but yeah. And I believe you can get you can share an apartment there. They have it fixed. They have like some foreigner taking care of the whole place, and they'll advertise, you know, we want someone to take this room, and it'll be maybe 30,000 yen for your own room in a big apartment. But I know some other guys in there who have a fully furnished everything, you know, with huge TVs, pretty big place, big loft area, with bed and everything, and they pay like 150,000. So when I say 1,000, you should estimate that's $100. So 150,000 is $1,500. Okay, so that's the apartment question. Okay, the next question comes from Andrew and axes me. That sounded quite intelligent. Axes me. What do you look for in a teacher? When I got this question, I was like, oh God. Well, first of all, I'm not looking for anyone right now. We did have 5 full-time teachers at one time in the past when the market was a little healthier. There was a big Nova scandal, a big English school. There was a big scandal, and a lot of students lost their money. And I thought people would trust smaller schools like mine more, but it ended up everyone ended up suffering, and a lot of schools closed, but we're still open. Anyway, what do I look for? Personally, every school is going to be different. I look for experience, and I ask the students, the applicants, the candidates, to do a mogi class, which is a test class. I welcome my students. I call my students and say, who wants to take a sample class? And it's free. All you have to do is fill out this questionnaire afterwards, and they'll take the students, the candidates class. He'll teach a class, a 30-minute or an hour class. I forget how long it was now, but. And when we have a few applicants, we'll have the same students take the different teachers' classes and then tell us who they like the most. Other things that I look for are, of course, personal appearance. You know, I had a guy come in with gang tattoos once, and gang tattoos, and not just that. It wasn't just that. It was his the way he just, you know, he sat back like he didn't give a crap, you know, during class. So I didn't take him very seriously. I had another guy come in who thought, well, you know, he said, I can juggle, and he expected to be hired because he could juggle. Things like that. I didn't want to hire him. I had another guy, one of the first thing he asks right off the bat is how much it pays. That's kind of a bad impression in Japan, and my coworker who was interviewing with me, she didn't like him right away for that question, and I can understand that. So you want someone who is not too judgmental. I want someone who's not too judgmental. I don't care if you're religious, but as long as you don't push your beliefs on students, that would be an awkward thing to do. So I don't like to hire people who do that. What else do I look for? Of course, personal appearance. You know, it's a lot of schools I think go for the blonde, blue-eyed guy, really gaijin looking guy. Like I would say, I would probably fare. I'm at kind of a disadvantage. Even when I was young and dashing, 20 years ago when I first came here, didn't have the beard, all black hair, about 10 or 15 kilograms lighter than I am now. But yeah. Oh, one thing is not important for a lot of schools, and actually was not the most important thing for me, was language ability. Japanese language ability doesn't really matter if you speak Japanese, and actually most schools don't care. Though if you work at a high school or at a college, they will care, because you need to interact with the staff, and they can't be bothered because a lot of staff don't speak English. You need to be able to speak Japanese if you want one of those jobs, and those are nice positions as well. But if we're talking about just a kaiwa, you do not need language ability. Now, as a general rule of thumb, almost any and for me as well, any school will require at least a BA. it is possible to get a job working if you don't have I'm sorry, not just to be a university degree for a 3 or 4 year accredited university, depending if you're England or from England. I'm sorry, the UK, Canada or America. And by the way, to all the people in the UK, when Americans say England or British, we don't really, generally speaking, we don't really differentiate between whether you're from Wales or Ireland or Scotland. It's all basically, we just group you all the same. So we don't mean any disrespect when we say English. From England, we just kind of, they're synonymous to most of us. So I do understand that there's quite a difference between a Scottish person and an Irish person and a British well, are you all considered Brits? I guess you're all considered Brits, but well, maybe not. Is there one word I think you're all Brits, and then Englishmen are Englishmen, right? Anyway, Americans don't really differentiate or care that much. You may care a lot, but anywho, I just had to throw that out there. Oh, and while I'm at it, Americans call themselves Americans, and a lot of South Americans don't like that because I'm American too, you know, because that's a terrible accent. But no, it's okay for Americans to call. If you're a United States citizen, you can call yourself American. It doesn't mean that you're possibly from Argentina or Brazil or Colombia, okay? Because nobody calls those people, ooh, sounds racist. Huh? Those people Americans. They call them Colombians or Argentinians or Brazilians. Or anywho, and I get called all those things. So that's to summarize. I personally look for teaching experience, number one, and teaching ability proven in the classroom with a test, and of course, especially you have to have a BA or BS. Also, I don't think you can actually even sponsor someone without that. Now, if you have a working holiday visa, you can get around that, but I won't hire you, probably. Yeah, unless, you know, well, and, you know, I might know. If you had the experience and the ability and you didn't have the BA, I might try to fight for you. Because I don't really care that much about it. It's just a technicality. But you'd have to be from a working holiday visa, or you'd have to be married to a Japanese. So I wouldn't want to, you know, I wouldn't want to spend the time trying to get your visa approved if I couldn't do it. Because if you have the college degree, it's easy to get the visa, right? Anyway, that's the first two questions. I got another one coming up right now after this one, which I think you'll find interesting, about the working holiday program, a little more information about that. So if you're interested, go on to the next video. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.